Yo, welcome home. Took about 10 minutes to get the internet going here. We're all good. Welcome home. Welcome to First Christian Church of Decatur. Today is Wednesday, December 14th, 2022. It's an honor and a delight to be with you. Thank you for welcoming me and First Christian Church of Decatur into your homes, into your cell phone feed, into your life. It's a joy and an honor to be with you, to share together these beautiful days. It's rainy and dark and cold outside, but it's warm in our hearts. And God is good. It's a joy to be with you again, as I say to you every time, and I really mean it. One big announcement is that our Christmas pageant is this Sunday, December 18th. Worship starts at 10:25, and if you're online or you're here, you will enjoy a once in a lifetime experience. This is a very unique Christmas pageant, written, designed, created, crafted, imagined by our young people. It's called Love Scattered, Covered, Smothered, Chunked. If you're from the South, where we go to Waffle House, you'll know exactly what that is. If you're not, come and learn. So we are going to have a meditation now on teach your children. Teach your children. If you went on our on our Facebook, you would have seen the picture by photographer Diane Arbus, who took a series of photographs of a child with a toy hand grenade in Central Park in New York City in 1962. And one of those photos was published, put out there, and it hangs in the Metropolitan Museum of Art right now. That photograph says a lot about our society, about our tendency towards glorifying violence, of children with access to weapons, whether toy or real, with what it means to relate to other people and to practice nonviolence or to practice violence as people so choose. So we're going to meditate on that tonight, okay? So away we go. So this week, I was really struck by something that's going on in Lubbock, Texas. We're just outside in a small town right near Lubbock. I've been to Lubbock, Texas. It's flat and very windy. And you can sit on your front porch and watch the storms roll across the plains of Texas. Sometimes they're coming at you, sometimes they're going away, sometimes they're going side by side. And it's a spectacular sight to watch those storm clouds with lightning and dust rolling across the countryside. A young black high school student who was an A student and thinking about college and future life found herself in her high school being harassed by primarily white students. And they would say the N word to her or around her whenever she was in their presence. And she would protest and tell them, please don't do that. I find that offensive. What you're saying is wrong. Please don't use the N word. And she said it repeatedly. She told the administrators in the school. She recorded students saying it to her. Her mother took a recording to the principal, to administrators, guidance counselor, and nothing was done. The children continued to harass her. And then one day she got fed up and she slapped a boy and said, don't use that word. And guess what? She got 45 days of suspension and sent to a school for troubled youth. And the boys and the other students who did the bullying, who harassed her, who practiced what I would call a hate crime against her, nothing. Very upsetting and very wrong. And so, there's a lawsuit, and that's going to the courts. That's a mess. It never needed to get that place. It never needed to go there. I'm going to suggest that this is a parental problem. That when children and teens and young adults use hate language and do wrong against other people, at some point, parents needed to have stepped up and taught their children. There's a wonderful song in the musical South Pacific. It says, you've got to be taught. You've got to be taught to love, and you've got to be taught to hate. I'm not quoting the song, I'm just giving the gist of it. You've got to be taught to care, and you've got to be taught to not care. Okay? Children learn what their parents model and exhibit. Parents, pay attention to your children. Teach them positive family values. Teach them. And if you don't know, learn and then teach. Children can learn to be nonviolent, or they can learn to use violence against other people. They can learn to solve problems peacefully, or they could learn to solve problems by creating other problems. Children are malleable and influential, and they look to their parents and their mentors and their teachers and counselors and pastors, neighbors, uncles, and aunts to present to them a positive way of being in this world, of living in community and being a community. My mother, Buffy Stewart Calvert, was born in 1930. So around 1935, she was living in Binghamton, New York, and her neighborhood was all white. And one day, she and her sisters looked out the window, and there was a black man walking down their street. And so other children were running around him and behind him, yelling the N-word at him. And so Buffy and her sisters ran outside and joined in the fun of yelling the N-word at this black man walking down their street. Well, Buffy's mother, May Corbett Stewart, pulled her children inside the house. And she told them, she lit into them, and she said, never, ever, ever use that word again. That man was peacefully walking down the street, and he has a right to walk down the street. He is a child of God. Don't you ever disrespect a child of God again. Well, Buffy was maybe 5 years old, and that lesson stuck. It stuck. She never used that word again. She never chased anybody again. She never harassed anybody again, because her parents taught her to love, to use kind language and not hateful language. Parents and teachers, adults, be adults. Be the adult in the room. Teach your children. Buffy and her husband George taught their 4 sons that you're to love one another, you're to treat people with respect, you're to recognize them for who and whose they are. My father taught his sons to box, and we learned how to fight and to protect. And my mother, watching us learn how to fight, she said, if you ever see a girl being harassed, you surround her and you fight off the harassers. Protect the innocent. Protect girls. Respect girls. When we would criticize President Nixon, my father would defend him, even though he disagreed with everything Nixon was doing. Why? Because Nixon wasn't there to defend himself. So Buffy and George taught their sons to stand up for whoever's not in the room. Be their voice in the room. It's not easy. Not easy. But if someone's not there to protect themselves or defend themselves, then you do it for them. That's one of the lessons in life that we learned. It was a hard lesson for those of us who didn't care for the governmental policies at the time. But we learned the lesson. Teach your children. So there's a wonderful song by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. It's written by Graham Nash. Graham Nash saw this photograph by Diane Arbus of a child with a hand grenade, toy hand grenade, in Central Park, New York City, 1962. And he was so moved by the photo. He saw the spiritual connection between Diana Arbus's photo and his own personal prayer and his hope that parents be mindful of what we teach our children. And so he recognized that parents have a social responsibility to raise our children to be a positive influence in the world, and it starts with us. What it means to be part of the human condition is to be people of nonviolence, people of grace, people who respect and recognize one another. So he wrote these timeless words that resonate from Berkeley to Atlanta and to wherever you are. You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by. And so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well. Your father's hell did slowly go by. Their father's hell did slowly go by. And feed them on your dreams. The one they fix, the one they'll know by. Don't ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh and know they love you. Look at your children. Love them. Care for them. And teach them the values that make a difference. The values that resonate forever and ever. The values of love and respect, of kindness, of grace, of generosity, of sharing and caring. You can do it. My parents did it. My grandmother did it. And I think my children are doing it. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. They're amazing. And you're amazing. And may the amazing grace of God be with you. You take care. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And let's stay in touch. May God's blessings and peace be with you. Good night.